Hey guys, it's SJ. I hope you're well. Today's video is all about my very special, brave middle child, my little son Finn, and all about how he overcame a huge hurdle in early life of not developing speech to go on to say his name for the first time the day before he started school, age 5.
I am Finn.
This is the story really. I just wanted to put it all together, hopefully inspire some people and make you feel like you can do it if you're at the beginning of this journey. This is how he worked himself every single day on his speech. How at age 3.5 he had to go back to the beginning, to the babbling sounds, and how through friendship, through his siblings' love, through a lot of patience from me and his dad, I must say, and a really playful therapist, he has managed to now overcome his speech issues. There's a big person I also need to thank on behalf of Finn, and it's a creator called Devon over in New York. She's also telling her story of her update on her son Cullen's speech delay. But if it wasn't for me 3 years ago watching her video on tips for parents with a speech delayed child, we wouldn't be here today. It really unlocked me being able to address his speech, and I want to say a huge thank you to her and introduce her to you guys as well. This is Devon, and her video will be live tonight as well.
Hi guys, my name is Devon. I'm so excited to be collabing on this video with SJ so we can talk about our individual experiences with speech delay with our kids. If you come over to my channel, I have a whole playlist on different speech delay related topics. I know SJ has some amazing content on that as well, and I really hope you guys enjoy this collab.
So here's Finn, the day before his first day at school. He started school age 5, and just the day before he managed to say his name for the very first time.
I am Finn.
Can't almost describe that moment and how amazing it was, how hard he'd worked for the year before. But let's go back in time just a few months before that moment and show you everything that led up to it. So when Finn was born, he was absolutely fine. He was 4 months old. He contracted really severe eczema, which really affected him a lot. It was top to toe. He was sore, he had to be bandaged, and we were so focused on his eczema and his sleep. That whole first year was quite focused around him and his skin, but he was a really happy little baby. And then when he was just over 1, I went back to work full time, and we had a nanny at the house because I also had obviously Freddie. But Finn was really happy and content little boy. Obviously had his older brother who was super articulate to play with, and after school they were just together, and he had the one-on-one with the nanny who was a really outdoorsy nanny and loved to take him to play groups and social occasions, and she'd have play dates at the house. So overall we felt like there was nothing that should have been holding him back, but we started to recognise really early on that he was nowhere near as articulate as children his own age. He didn't speak all that often, and when he did, it was a lot of sounds.
Jag help you. Cut, cut.
He also used gestures a lot, and had more relied on gestures than using his speech.
No, you can't have any extra. No, darling, you can't. I promise, not before bedtime. Finn, do you want milk? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so Finn's going to have a glass of milk now. What are you going to? Finn, milk? A fruit pot now.
The other thing that happened around this time is I think I felt huge guilt. I recognised it. He'd never said the word mama. If he wanted me, he just said A, A.
Okay. Off.
And also I recognised that I could understand him. I was the only one who could, probably, and I was really focused on giving him confidence that I could understand him, that he was that I was able to help him. And then on the weekend sometimes there would be a lot of frustration if there was other people around, or even his dad, people who didn't understand him as well.
Okay, what do we need to do?
Down.
Okay, arms in the air. If you want to take that off, then you need to take a jumper off first.
Down.
You just want to tuck it in. Oh, is it dirty? Or do you want me to fold it up? What about that? Okay? Happy? Okay.
No. I like a cow.
And then other mums started to ask me advice about speech delay. What are you doing about Finn's speech? Somebody said to me in the school playground. I was like, I have not brought up Finn's speech. And I was kind of shocked that other people had obviously been overhearing and really recognising this problem even before I had really come to terms with being able to talk even to Henrik about it. I just assumed he was focusing on physical. He's quite a big boy. We were outdoors a lot, and I just thought he would naturally catch up. But we decided to make a change, and we decided for Finn to start nursery as well as having a nanny, because we hoped that being around other children would really bring it on and give him that push and a bit of that unease to push himself a bit harder.
So when we pick you up from nursery at 12:30, we have about 12:31, nearly 3 hours. You'd like some milk? How'd you ask nicely? I've got you some water, but would you like some milk? How'd you ask nicely?
They realised quite quickly that, yep, he was so behind with his speech, and so applied for him to have speech therapy on the NHS, which is what we do here in the UK, but we didn't here. A few months later, his sister was born, and the health visitor came to the house to check up on the baby, as they do. So the health visitor is separate from the midwife in that she's kind of there for like development really for the whole first year, 2 years. You even see them at age 2. And she came in and she was sat with me, and I was talking about Evelina, and she was just kept glancing over at Finn, who was playing, and she just said to me, "Is there anything else you're worried about?"
What's your one? That's for duckies.
Oh, and she just gave me a look, and I was like, "You mean his speech?" And she was just like, "Yeah, this is an urgent case, I need to refer him." And I was like, "Well, the referral's been in." She's like, "I'm going to push it forward." And then a couple of weeks later, not very long after, he got invited to his first NHS speech therapy, where he was very good at recognising everything. Obviously autism had been a real worry. You know, you never know what signs they're displaying when they're just kind of 2, 2.5 to 3. At this point he was 3, and but we recognised that he could recognise every single flashcard that she gave him, and he could speak and say what he was trying to say. And actually, if they showed him a cake, he didn't just say cake, he said like a birthday cake with candles, and he was you couldn't understand much of what he was saying, but she obviously could, which was so lovely for me.
You ready for some lunch? What do you want? A biscuit?
He had hearing tests to make sure that he wasn't experiencing any hearing issues, and they ruled that out. So that meant that he could go into speech therapy for free. So he had the speech therapy, and it was basically only once a month, and he was all right with it. You know, it was play, it's all through games, but we weren't really seeing much progression because it was just so slow. And I was really hoping for this clicking moment that everyone had told me and promised me that one day it will just click and you won't notice it. And I was like, I'm noticing it. So we just carried on, and the difficult thing for me was as he got older, what we really had to do, which I'd wanted to avoid his whole life, was let him know that he had an issue. And that really was, I guess, the turning point, was telling him, look, when he used to say something and I didn't understand, he'd get very frustrated and cross, and I would say, silly mummy, I need to wash out my ears. And I had to stop saying that, and I had to say, no, Finn, you're not pronouncing your words properly. I can't understand you, and you have to also be kind and try harder to help other people to understand you. And I had to keep telling him that, and it was the first time, I guess, that he realised that he was different, and no child likes to be told that there's something actually is wrong. And obviously I didn't sit him down and tell him, but it was just a shift in how we discussed it and being more open as a family about it, you know, telling him, oh, you know, Finn, you know, you need to say that word again or whatever, and actually challenging him to do it a bit more. But it was gentle, soft things. I've done a whole video about the things that I did, from pointing at my mouth while I was speaking, and all the tips for toddler I will link in the description box below, so if you want to go, you can listen to that. And slowly but surely, we were making improvements. He could babble. He could say, we used to say popping bubbles, popping bubbles, popping bubbles, popping bubbles. And he began to be able to make those sounds. And then we moved on to blended sounds. And then we moved on to trying to talk in sentences.
You like drink?
I would love a drink, thank you.
Not good guy.
Water? What about a nice cup of tea? Or some fika?
Yeah. You got your good gone.
It's all gone.
You got your
Okay, I'll have a, oh boy.
yeah, good gone.
Water, lush, thanks. And the speech therapist came to the house, or went to his nursery setting, and she was fantastic, and she was so good. She basically did packs every single week, and then every single day we had something that we were working on to support, and I was mind blown by how complex speech and language development is. It's not a case of wait and it will come. It's really, really not, and that's the biggest other lesson that I had, was it's not a sit and wait and hope, you know. So the year before school we were all in on it. We took his learning packs to Sweden with us for the summer, because my husband's Swedish. We spend our whole summer holidays over there, and we were working on the packs, which was quite good because we did it with his Swedish cousins, so it was like they were learning English as well, and we just worked and worked and worked and worked and worked until it came to him starting school, and we went for the settling in day, and he sat at the back and he didn't say anything, and I thought, I'm not sure he's ready. And actually Devon and I had this conversation, like, are we going to homeschool? Are they ready for mainstream school? And we did a video together about that. And I decided to put him into school, and then just before we started that night, we were sat there and he just literally to himself just said, I am Finn.
I am Finn.
And I was just like, yeah, you are. And the speech therapist has said to me, the first word we're going to start with is his name, because it's so empowering for him to be able to say his name, and it's the most important thing. It's, you know, and there was the first time somebody had really empathized with how he was feeling as well, not just practically. She was like, he needs to be able to say his name, and when he did, it just was like so proud of him. I know it sounds so crazy, but it just showed that he was so determined, and it gave him his identity, and he said it in a way like, I'm showing up, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do my best. A bit of a lockdown hair sitch going on, don't we? So I was telling everyone about how it was when you started school. What changed for you, do you think, when you started school?
No one could really understand me, but then I got a
Therapist?
yeah.
What's her name?
Jenny.
Yeah.
And then like after like a few weeks, my talking got better and better, and then everyone could understand me.
Yeah. How different did it feel then when everyone could understand you? Could you notice the difference?
Yeah.
What was the difference?
I'm like when I'm trying to say something, they actually talk to me.
Yeah.
But when I say something and they could understand me, they didn't talk to me.
What award did you win at school? The Warrior?
I don't really remember. It was a long time ago.
You won the Warrior of the Week award.
Oh yeah. Because I could do everything.
Because you tried so hard.
Yeah, I could do like everything at school. I always wanted to read.
Yeah? What do you think about people who are starting school now, who maybe they're like Sungyeon and they're from a different country, or maybe like you, they don't have their words yet?
It was alright, and you can be proud of yourself if you do. and you can learn how to talk English.
You can, and it's not as hard when you get started, is it, as you think it's gonna be?
Yeah. So you just have to keep learning.
How does it feel to you now that everyone understands you?
Good. And proud.
And that you've worked hard for that, haven't you? Wasn't easy. Every single day you worked differently, didn't you?
Yeah, like on Wednesday, and then like on Thursday, and then on like Friday, my was actually worked a tiny bit.
Yeah. It's hard starting, isn't it? And it takes a long time for it to feel like it's getting there, but then once you get there,
Yeah.
you're just so proud.
Yeah, you are really proud of yourself.
Love you lots.
Love you. And everyone there.
Bye everyone. Don't forget that there's another video with another story over on Devon's channel. Devon is in New York right now with her little boy Cullen, and it's crazy how much she's helped me. I hope this video has helped any of you, and I'm always here to chat in the comments below or DM on Instagram, and we'll see you soon. Bye guys.